Hey, English 2. We just finished reading Act 1 yesterday, and you have one more set of annotations to do for Act 1. And it's really important that you're understanding how we're doing these annotations because that's going to be your Act 2 quiz next week. Now, I know we haven't read Act 2, and you still have an Act 1 quiz to take, but that Act 1 quiz is more it's like short answer questions, whereas Act 2 quiz is something just like this. All right, so if you don't understand how I'm doing this after you've watched this video, please make sure you're reaching out to me. So this is that opening soliloquy in Act 1, Scene 7. It's a really important soliloquy. And again, we're annotating Macbeth, and we're watching Macbeth's ambitious character develop throughout the course of the play, because when you write your essay for this unit, you're going to be focusing on Lady Macbeth. So we'll have practice with Macbeth, and you'll be able to easily transfer those skills to the analysis of Lady Macbeth. So let's look at this. So question 1, highlight the metaphor in lines 1 through 5 in red. What does this metaphor suggest about Macbeth's hesitation in murdering Duncan? So remember that metaphors are comparisons that don't use like or as. Similes, of course, use like or as. So we got to look at lines 1 through 5. Oh, and if you're looking for this in your textbook, page 227. Okay, if it were done when 'tis done, then 'twere well it were done quickly. If the assassination could trammel up the consequence and catch with his surcease success, that but this blow might be the be-all end-all here. But here upon this bank and shoal of time, we jump the life to come. Okay, so we have to use context clues to determine what the metaphor is here, because the metaphor itself isn't necessarily explicitly stated. But he's talking, remember when I read this with you yesterday, I said it was the pronoun that was replacing the murder itself, and then we had assassination to prove that. All right, so if the assassination could be done and done quickly, and if it could catch any consequence and catch with his surcease success. So catch. Let's jump ahead here and look at upon his bank and shoal of time. Now you might have to do some research here, but shoal is like a sandbar, like a bank of sand, typically in the middle of a body of water. Okay, so we know we're talking about water, and he's using this metaphor to talk about himself in regards to how he feels about the murder. And if we talk about the word catch, we can say that the metaphor here is he's kind of talking about like a net, right? Because if a net goes in, it catches up all the consequences, just like it would catch up all the fish if you were standing on a shoal or a bank of water. So highlight the metaphor in lines 1 through 5 in red. I would go ahead and include this here and include that word catch, right? Because that's super, I think that's super telling that we're talking about a net here, considering consequences. What does this metaphor suggest about Macbeth's hesitation in murdering Duncan? Well, he's wishing that the consequences for that could be caught up, right? Like they were no longer within that body of water. So they were no longer something that he would have to deal with. So what does it suggest about his hesitation? He wants to do it because he wants to reap the rewards of that, and that the prophecy would come to fruition. However, he's concerned about the consequences, as he should be. Okay. Question 2 says, highlight the symbol between lines 10 through 15 in blue. What great idea does the symbol represent, and explain its purpose here? The symbol is a little bit easier to find because it is actually explicitly stated, and that's this poisoned chalice. Let's start the line above it. It says, this even-handed justice commends the ingredients of our poisoned chalice to our own lips. So justice forces us to drink out of the same cup that we serve to our contender, in this case, Duncan versus Macbeth. So that poisoned chalice is what the symbol is. I think I'm going to run out of time here. I'm going to stop it here, and I'll pick up with part 2 of number 2 in just a second.